Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is D back with another movie review, and this review is for the 2022 horror film Men. Oh, what did we do this time? Men is a 2022 horror film from A24 Studios, directed by Alex Garland and starring Jessie Buckley and Rory Kinnear. In the film, a woman by the name of Harper goes on a solo retreat to the countryside to heal after the tragic death of her ex-husband. But instead of peace of mind, she becomes disturbed and tormented by the men in the area, and ultimately haunted by her former relationship. Intrigued by the trailer, but prematurely exhausted by the title, Men was a film I placed on my horror watch list, but dragged my feet about actually watching. Glad to say I finally gave the film a viewing, and it was a surreal, sometimes enchanting, and sometimes frustrating watch. Some positives about the film: the spooky, haunting imagery and moments. There are some legitimately eerie scenes in Men. The dark tunnel scene was very well done. The moment Harper approaches the tunnel, a sense of uneasiness came over me. The long dark passage seeming almost abyss-like if it weren't for the small circle of light at the other end. Harper singing within the tunnel serving as a moment of enchanting exploration and discovery that quickly turns to fear once we realize that she's not alone. Great acting across the board. There's strong acting performances from everyone that appears in this film. Great special effects. While not a Cronenberg production, obviously, there are multiple moments that push this film into the body horror category, most notably the male birth sequence in the movie's climax. Of course, none of the body horror is pleasant. It's all pretty grisly stuff, but it's well done and not cheap looking at all. Men has a surreal, often dreamlike or nightmare-like atmosphere to it. While this serves as effective energy for an arena of horror, it does cause more questions to arise about what's really happening to Harper and what isn't. There are some moments that clearly can't be real or literal, and there are others that through deductive reasoning must be real and literal in Harper's physical world. In typical art house fashion, many answers are left up to the viewer's interpretation of things, and this does give great opportunity for thought exercise, creative thinking, and personalization of one's relation to the material. However, being told 1 + 1 is whatever you want it to be doesn't always feel so much like freedom, but more so instability. It's also peculiar that all of the men in the countryside village have Jeffrey's face and not the face of her ex-husband, James. The film's apparent messaging regarding men and the often used toxic masculinity didn't really move me, as it was more so a piling on of the talking points already bombarding media and social discourse. That being said, James's attempt at manipulating Harper by saying he'd commit suicide if she left really jumped out at me. It was essentially an admission that he wants to stay with her regardless of whether she wants to or not, regardless of whether she'd actually be happy or not. The scene really just reaffirmed my cynical view of relationships. This movie obviously isn't for everyone, and I can easily see people having both strong positive reactions to it as well as strong negative reactions. I can pretty confidently recommend this to fans of Garland's other films, though as it stands, Annihilation is probably my preferred project from him. Alright you guys, so that was my review for Men. Definitely not a movie for everyone, but it does have some pretty interesting aspects to it. There were some things I might have took kind of an issue with, but it also had some things that I thought was pretty impressive, pretty intriguing. So check it out if you're a fan of kind of the psychological type horror, the surreal stuff, and definitely the body horror. It does have some quality body horror here, possibly even some disturbing body horror depending on what your sensibilities are. But I do think it's worth a watch for at least a segment of the horror viewing audience. So that is it. I will catch you on the next go round.